Hello and welcome to Intel Edge Software Hub training. I'm Savita Gandikota from Intel Internet of Things Group. I focus on Edge AI architecture, products, and solutions through CSPs. In this session, we will continue to train on connect edge devices to Azure IoT. In our path to building scalable end-to-end solutions using Intel devices, we have covered several topics, including the importance of building end-to-end solutions, the tools we are providing through Edge Software Hub, as well as the reference solutions for certain applications. Today, we are going to continue this journey further in deploying solutions using Intel devices and Azure IoT Central. For solution builders with limited resources to allocate large budget on the latest technology while continuing to improve their own business solutions and time to market for increasing efficiency, it's a constant challenge. While the latest market trends show the IoT infused with AI has become the mantra of many business innovations, the challenges of how to get there quickly needs to be solved. Naturally, the quest for reliable, secure, scalable, as well as customized solutions that meet the requirements of their own business. In this session, we will quickly recap as well as move on to the next step and how this shift can be achieved very quickly for these solution builders. Now, when it comes to connecting the edge devices to Azure IoT, we have covered it extensively in the past sessions. To meet the large data requirements that are generated at the edge, a wide selection of Intel hardware provides several options to meet the compute and performance levels that meet the use case specific requirements for the edge. While edge satisfies the real-time analytics, we said that connecting to the cloud also provides the flexibility and global visibility. To connect to Azure IoT and developing end-to-end solution, we talked about two options. The first, connecting to the Azure IoT Hub to build custom solutions using PaaS options. The second option is through Azure IoT Central for building and leveraging the SaaS fully managed service option. With the Azure IoT Edge runtime pre-installed, the users can securely push their containers onto the devices. So all these things are available as pre-validated packages on Edge Software Hub. And let's find out a little bit more. We quickly mentioned about the Connect Edge devices to Azure IoT. This is the first option, the lightweight package, which has the prerequisites as well as OpenVINO and the web app Connect Edge devices to Azure IoT available under this package. The second one is through Edge Insights for Vision. It has more detailed components or more extra components for advanced users. But for the purposes of this talk, we are going to focus on Azure IoT Central. The reason we picked this option is to connect these devices and enable them for those developers who do not have the expertise in-house on cloud solutions and use Intel devices, or maybe not familiar with Intel devices as well. By making this app, we are making it possible for developers to customize and put their own stamp to drive their own personal business outcomes within a very short period of time, on almost a day or so. On the devices side, we already talked about several kits to cover a vast range of scenarios, as well as a toolkit such as OpenVINO and OpenModel Zoo for AI use cases. By selecting the right Intel devices, solution developers will be able to fully control on how many messages that needs to be sent to the cloud. They can be event triggered once a day, a few hours, once in few hours, or every few seconds. And the idea is that we want to provide the option through, like, both edge and as well as of the cloud. Now, moving on to the application itself that we will demonstrate today is the retail social distancing application that we've been talking about in our previous examples. It's the same example. We will walk you through how to visualize the same on Azure IoT Central and leverage the benefit that it is, the cloud connectivity is providing. Again, this application utilizes OpenVINO inference engine to gather insights. The data is deposited into InfluxDB. We assume for the purposes of this session, you have already gone through the installation and run through this application before. If the data does not need to be transported onto the cloud, as we mentioned before, we have provided Grafana dashboard to visualize the analytics right at the edge itself. Now let's get started on the app itself and towards the next steps. As before, install the package, unpack it through your product key, as well as download the reference application and that to get started. Once you unpack, you can trigger the connect edge devices to Azure IoT the same way as you have done before. But in this time, at this time, you will be connecting to Azure IoT Central and you'll be selecting that option. Next, on the IoT Central itself, there are certain steps that you would need to take in order to set up the device itself as well as the visualization part of it. So let's get started there. Right. For that, you go to the apps portal apps.azureIoTcentral.com, and once you select the build option, you have in this particular case, we are going to build a custom apps, not the pre-existing ones, which are at the bottom, but the custom app for the multi-camera social distancing application. Next, let me walk you through all the steps. Step one is creating Azure IoT Central dashboard itself. So as you look through on the left, when you are starting the new application, the tiered approaches and how long and the pricing model. And please make a note of the URL, and that's something which is shareable, and there's more insights on how that becomes insightful at Microsoft in the Microsoft documentation. So for the purposes of this demo, we won't be going through all the details of from the website, but just make a note of that. Next is about creating and updating the device template. And for this example, we are just going to customize the IoT device, but the same thing can be applied through Azure IoT Edge, like deploying the container service and leveraging the Azure IoT Edge example. Next, in the portion about setting up the template itself, you navigate to the device template tab towards the left and select the model itself. And this is in this case, it's called the device capability model. And that's also included along with the installation of the application. And it's in a JSON format, and it will be located under the application directory itself. Next, we also provide in the documentation on how to set up a sample viewing pane, and all the tiles again here are examples for you to just follow through. You can customize and adjust, and as well as visualizing a panel configuration can be per your requirements. Next is about adding the device to the device template that you have just created. Next step, the following that is getting the device parameters itself once you create them. And here, the things to note are the scope ID, device ID, as well as the authentication keys. Why are these important? Because they are used for running the command to connect to the dashboard itself. Included in the installation is the script that is allowing for this connectivity, and you pass the parameters that I mentioned just a second ago as the input at the command line. Once you start executing, you will be able to see the data being on the screen itself, as well as this is for a simple people count and the violation. That's what you're seeing on the screen, and then you will also see the same thing that you saw locally on the Grafana dashboard now showing up on the Azure Central dashboard itself. Again, you can customize it to your needs, organize it by channel, organize it by the type of data, bar graph or pie charts, or just simply counts, and get those details that you're looking after. One more thing I would like to highlight are the Intel devices that are available on the Azure IoT Central portal itself. This list of devices come with pre-built device template provided by the ODM manufacturer. Please scroll down to find these. Note that to drive edge to cloud solutions, you're not limited to using these devices alone. You can find alternate devices from various other catalogs. Once you load a specific device, you will be able to see the default device templates that are loaded for that particular device. You can further upgrade it by loading the custom templates needed for your use case, such as industrial application or retail application, and as such. There's a way to simulate the device before you migrate to the real device once you make your purchase. For these advanced features, please refer to the Microsoft documentation. To summarize, you will find this web app along with the sample applications as well as the additional reference applications that you can customize on Edge Software Hub. You will also find on the same site Intel recommended devices. So please check them out. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you found this session helpful. See you next time.